Hello, this is Jimmy Kimmel. Why the hell does Jimmy Fallon have so much energy? How do I compete with that? That's just too much. Oh, I do my show from Los Angeles. That town saps the energy out of me. Did you know that Mike's Daily Podcast is completely independently created and produced? Did you know just about every podcast you listen to is part of a huge network corporation or is simply lifted off of a radio station? Did you know big name people are always on the front of iTunes and Stitcher because they pay for those places and they pay for advertising? People pay for advertising on my show. That's how come I lost all this weight. Because they pay for my person that beats the crap out of me. I wish I could eat cheese again. Please do what you can to support independent podcasters. Thank you. Now on with Mike's Daily Podcast, which I suppose is some kind of show that you listen to.
This show is clean, pretty much.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 808. Hello, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from the last place on earth located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Today I have the very creative music producer named Anthony Vernon. Plus we hear from Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley, and Staples is buying Office Depot? What was wrong with Office Max, Staples? You got a thing against plus size offices?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And on the last show, Benita terrorized hipsters with salt shakers, but not with little fishes.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Because that would be really strange. And the disgruntled fiddle player said that he's afraid of fiddles, and I confused the movie The Crow with a movie called The Raven, which I have never seen. But I've seen The Crow, and that was really dark. Oh, I'm supposed to be rhyming things here. Hark! I can't think of lyrics at the moment, so let's just say Mike's Daily Podcast. And I was talking to a friend of mine for 2 hours, and he tore apart
Mike's
this podcast
Daily
and my website
Podcast.
So I felt like really torn down and didn't want to do the show. And then he kept talking about himself. And then someone walked in. Hello, Michael Masters. This is Madame Rootabega. You can't take criticism. No, I can take criticism. It's just the thing. You have a responsibility. If you tear someone down, you've got to help build them back up. It's your responsibility to give them at least a little bit of advice and get them going. Which my friend did. He gave me some advice about my website. But I think he fails to understand my website is also a blog. So it's going to look like a blog. It's not going to look like Ryan Seacrest's website. Did you know Ryan Seacrest has a website? I think I just answered my own question. Look, Welch just walked in.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the backing it thing.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, oftentimes we've heard you sound like you were drunk when you was doing the show there.
Yeah, you were drunk. Do you know that? No, I was not drunk. I was trying to start off the show with a mellow voice last show, and it did come off sounding a little drunk. I slurred a little bit. But I'm sure a lot of people that listen to this show are drunk. And I think it enhances the experience. However, drink in moderation. Michael Matthew, why is the disgruntled fiddle player afraid of fiddles? Are you okay? You were slurring a little bit too. Maybe I am very drunk. Madame Rootabega, you've just proved my point. I know. You're welcome. And that's what we say a lot on this show is you're welcome.
Mike, I always like to hear that I am welcome some ways. There.
Yeah, Mike, because we're not welcome anywhere. Well, you guys, it's because you're odd. But I don't mean to criticize you that in a bad way that you're odd. It's odd in a unique sort of way. Dang it! Why can't we just be ourselves? And a hater's gonna hate. So that's just what I've learned from the almighty wise Taylor Swift. And I guess the disgruntled fiddle player doesn't like fiddles because they're evil. And they have teeth. and they'll rip your hand off if you're not watching.
Okay, Michael Masu. Hiccup.
Was that a drunk hiccup?
Yes, a little bit. I fell into the brewmaster's root beer vat.
Ooh, I don't think he's cleaned that in like 2 years. You've picked up some interesting residue, I bet.
Talk about the news story.
All right, the news story today. Yeah, this is fascinating. So Staples is going to buy Office Depot. This according to dealbook.nytimes.com. They're going to buy it for $6.3 billion in cash and stock. A deal that would unite the two biggest providers of office supplies if approved. Let's hear it for office supplies. Interestingly enough, 18 years ago, regulators shot down a combination of Staples and Office Depot. But in the nearly 2 decades since that attempted deal in 1997, the competitive landscape has changed, and both companies are now facing rivals in Walmart, Target, Amazon, and others. When Office Depot acquired the plus-sized Office Max in 2013, the Federal Trade Commission said the deal was unlikely to substantially lessen competition in the retail sale of consumable office supplies. Oh, office supplies. Anyway, what do you think about that? Email me, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. We read your comments on the section emails from email. What do you think about Benita terrorizing hipsters with salt shakers? Because she wasn't terrorized. Hipsters want umami. They don't want salt. That's why. That was her terrorizing them. And the disgruntled fiddle player afraid of fiddles, and me confusing the crow with the raven. How did that happen? That's the Edgar Allan Poe poem, right? The Poe poem. You know, Kennedy is now on Fox News. She used to be a MTV VJ. And I remember listening to her on K-Rock back in the early 90s, and she'd be on the overnight shift. Like, she would start at 1 and end at 6 in the morning. And at about 3 in the morning, yes, I would stay up late. I was in my 20s. I could do it then. She would do this poem. She'd read a poem that she had written, and she would say, "Hey, it's Kennedy, you're Poho." I used to think that was so funny. And now she's on Fox News. But I'm not going to criticize her, because I'm really down on criticizing, because I've been criticized. I didn't like it. But we all got to deal with a little bit of criticism now and then, and that's just how it is. And Madame Rootabega, you look lovely, even though you fell into a fetid root beer vat.
Thank you, Michael Masu.
And then the podcast website is MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com, which I guess looks like crap, but that's all right. We forge ahead. And it's got a blog on it, and it's got links to where to listen to this show in iTunes. Oh, hey, I just got an email from TuneIn. That's that app that you can have on your smartphone. And it looks like you're going to be able to listen to Mike's Daily Podcast on TuneIn. Isn't that cool? So you can search for Mike's Daily Podcast and listen through it to TuneIn app. Thank you. I just found out from Shannon over there. Isn't that cool? All right, and you can also listen to the show on Podomatic, Mixcloud, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud. And like the Facebook page. When I post a new show, share it with your friends. More people find out about us that way, too. We're also on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and Yelp. Links to where to find us on all those places are there at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. And the Amazon link, if you want to help support the show, click on the Amazon link next time you want to buy anything through Amazon. And if you buy something through that link at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com, we get a little bit from that. There's also all the past interviews I did, the daily podcast picture, and yes, the blog, all there at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. And now, my interview with the amazingly creative music producer, Anthony Vernon.
Into an interview.
Hey!
Hello, Anthony!
Hello, how are you doing, man? Finally, it's like, I actually sent you another email. I'm like, oh, shoot, the only way I can keep in touch with this guy's email. Oh, God. Because, email is not like a text message. I was kind of having to treat email like a text there for a bit, but it works.
Yes.
So how have you been?
Excellent. Yes, good. How about you?
You sound excited as all hell.
No, not as excited as you.
Oh, well, okay. You don't have to tone yourself down. I guess I don't mean to be subduing your party.
All right, wait. There I am. Here I am. I'm all excited again.
Awesome. Sounds good.
And
all right.
How's Miami?
Miami, you know what? I like it. It is a nice city. It's not my favorite, but I do like it a lot.
How long have you lived there?
My life.
Your whole life?
Whole life.
Wow.
Whole life been a native to South Florida. So.
Now, I want to ask you, because like all I hear about are the parties in Miami.
I'm not partier.
Oh.
Despite being one of those guys who makes electronic music, not partier.
No, your music would work great at a party.
It doesn't actually. A lot of people here, they're like, nope.
They don't?
No, it's actually the thing is that I've actually been sending out my stuff as demos, and I usually get back results of we like, but it doesn't fit. And it's to a lot of electronic labels. So I've tried experimental labels, and I've gotten word back, but they haven't kept in touch. So it's just been kind of happening, yeah.
Well, what do you... It sounds great. What do you use for making it?
Okay, so it's going to be a long list of stuff. Wait, has the recording started?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, I did not know that. I thought we were just
do you have to
chatting along,
do you have
chilling.
Do you have to do a different voice? Do you have to go, wait.
Oh, well, now I have to be serious because it's I use a couple things. I use a website called Audio Tool, which was actually the first thing I used, and that actually is a cool story behind it. And then I use a lot of apps on my iPad, and I use GarageBand on my computer. So 3 different tools, and each does different things. The Audio Tool is actually what I got on first. A classmate of mine was using it to make stuff, and he was talking about, I'm like, I can get into that. So, on my own, I decided to learn the website and how to use it, and that's where I started making music. And it's a really convenient website if you want to just start making something. So it's really nice, and it's really also very friendly. Like, let's say you need a certain sound, you can't find it. There's lots of samples, people upload them. It's a very, very, very good site, and it's very easy to use. And you can make some really interesting stuff. I mean, you have to put in effort because it's a simple tool, but sometimes with simplicity comes beauty, and a lot of times simplicity allows for anyone to get involved.
Is it very expensive?
No, it's a free website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why it's easy to get into. Should have specified that.
I've never checked it out before. And then
it's a good site. It's one of the best sites on the internet, I say.
And then GarageBand is like on Apple products.
Yes, but I also have the mobile version, which also works very well.
Oh, you got it on your phone.
iPad, actually.
iPad.
I'm one of those lucky people that's able to have such things like a computer and a tablet. But I often find people, using their tablets for nothing and using their computers for nothing. And
yeah, that's frustrating. All that technology and all the possibilities, and they're just like, I'm not going to even use it.
YouTube. But,
yeah.
Use your phone. And I watch a lot of YouTube also, but aside from the music stuff, I do some video editing. Like, I've edited some of my own music videos I write, so I think I haven't written too many lyrics, and there hasn't been anything that's gotten released lyrically, but I still do some of that. And this is in terms of music stuff. I do stuff outside music, but this is in terms of music, that's what I use a lot of it for. It's a lot for the instrumentals, a lot of audio editing, and then I can get visuals in there if, I think there's a good concept for a music video.
So you make music videos?
Yes, I have a few, and they're kind of roughly made. I did one on iMovie, which was frame by frame, which took forever. So it's frame by frame animation. So
yeah,
and it was it was basically 3 shots. I had 3 images, and it was of the same robot. And the first image was I'm actually making the arm motions while I do this, even though no one can see me. It was the robot with the arms out like wings, just completely sideways, completely straight. Then there was one where one arm was kind of raised, fisted up, and then the other arm was kind of like the fist was down, but kind of like it looked at 90-degree angles, and then the flip of that image. So I had 3 images, and what I did is different